Greetings, Kerbonauts! This is Kerbal Space Program. I'm Bob Fitch, and this is episode number 20 of Project Odyssey, good old 2-0. If you know anything about me, one of the things you know is that I like things that end in zeros. Good round numbers, 10, 20, 100, 1,000, those are always great milestone markers, and that's what this one is. Episode 20 is where Svetlana was in a capsule heading to the moon so she could land and do some repairs on that station, that lander that we put down in the last episode. It's supposed to be collecting a bunch of Kethane for us, but it can't do anything unless she puts some probe cores on the outsides of the various little lander pods that I'm going to put around the large lander itself. As you can see, we've just finished doing a radial orbit maneuver to make sure that we are coming around the planet and not smashing into it head first. Ooh, look at that. Right there along that line, right underneath where the fuel lander is going, that's where our actual lander is right now. I didn't actually plan for this, it just happens to be there. Well, I'm going to take advantage of that, you better believe it, and I'm going to just go right into landing as fast as I possibly can. I would love to just arrive and drop down right on top of it. So that's what we're doing. We're lowering this orbit now. We'll put the actual capsule around in an orbit that goes over this landing site, and then we'll decouple that lander and Apollo style go down to the surface in the lander that can come up with just a little return capsule that goes to orbit, redocking eventually one day with the capsule and going home in that. We'll leave the landing legs and stuff like that behind. Using the Crew Manifest mod, Svetlana has transferred through that little tunnel, through those docking nodes into the lander, shut the door with a nice little thunk, and now she's getting ready to set her trajectory to pass just over that lander. A little maneuver node has given me a guideline on approximately where I want to go to land, but for the most part we're going to be landing by eye. Once we get close enough, we'll just come down around where we think we're supposed to, because I still haven't really figured out exactly how to set a maneuver node to land me exactly where I want to be with the rotation of the planet and stuff like that. Instead, I just go by eye. I look at the ground, I look at the target, I guess whether I'm going too fast or too slow, and I just kind of throw myself in the general direction and hope that I end up in the right spot. Svetlana punches the button that brings down the landing gear and then mashes the other button that closes that protected docking node shroud there. So now I'm looking on the horizon. There it is. I can see it. The target is just ahead at the top of the screen. We can see the distance and it looks like we are a little bit off. I'm coming in a bit to the right. I'm going to have to shift the lander here, move it up just a tiny bit in order to make sure, there we go, right there. Make sure that we're coming a little bit closer to the target by just shifting that a little bit up there. Now I've got myself coming down, check the mini map and make sure that we're actually still in line. It does look like we are in line, so we're going to keep on going in this direction. We're getting pretty close now and still going pretty fast, so it's time to throttle up to full power. We're a little bit still to the right. Yeah, it looks like I'm coming down too far to the right. We're going to have to power it up full power, blasting it over toward the left, my left, trying to get a little bit closer. Oh, really close now, really close now. We're slowing down quite a bit. I think we're going to be coming down a little south of it. We're going just about the right speed though. It's only 1 kilometer away. This is looking pretty good. Oh, the ground is coming up so fast. Oh, okay. That is a little bit tense. Wow. Okay, that was a little bit close, but we have slowed down now to the point where it's okay to just maneuver around on this as long as I get my bearings of which way is the actual target, which it seems it's along the north vector right there. Now, unfortunately, I can't set it as a target because whenever I do set a ground object as a target, my game slows down incredibly because when I look in the debug log window, I see that I'm getting just over and over and over again, null reference exception, null reference exception. So I can't really set ground targets, and that's another reason why I have to go by eye. And there we have it. We have landed ourselves pretty darn close to the lander. I don't really need the ladder, but it looks really cool, so we're going to extend the ladder down, and then Svetlana's going to go out on her EVA to begin this construction. We have those 3 boxes on the side, and they contain all the parts. Oh, ow. They contain all the parts we're going to need in order to repair that rover and the landers that are supposed to be put down. So apparently I've been doing a little bit too much min-miss because I was totally unprepared for exactly what the gravity was like. Completely forgot how much heavier we are here. I guess I'm going to have to walk over and get underneath those boxes and then fly up and grab onto them. On min-miss, I would just sort of fly all over the place, doing whatever I want, whenever I want, because the gravity is so low. So we'll just go up here, grab that box, and whoa! No. I call Kerbal Attachment System shenanigans on that one. We're reloading for that. That was not a natural catastrophe. We're gonna try this one more time. Oh, come on! The box I'm trying to grab is hovering in the air. Obviously, I'm having some sort of Kerbal Attachment System problem here again. We're gonna give this another try. But this time, rather than trying to get the box off the side, we're going to go into the box and grab all the bits one by one. Anytime that you grab something while you're already holding something, the one that you already were holding just releases as if you dropped it. So by simply saying pick up, pick up, pick up, pick up over and over again on all the parts, it causes them basically to just drop out of the box onto the ground. Now, those antenna that I'm grabbing right now and putting on my back at the moment, those are going to end up being a bit of a problem because they keep wanting to fall through the ground and basically just start falling toward the center of the moon. For the moment though, I have them all packed up and we're ready to head over there with a really interesting little waddle that Svetlana here is doing. And eventually she makes it over there. If I switched into RCS mode, there'd be no way that I'd actually get off the ground. They weigh too much. I gave it a try with just one of them and it didn't work, so carrying 2 of them and 4 antennae at the same time is not going to work. I'm having trouble picking out one of them that I can get to, so I just decided to drop them all instead. Now I'll just figure out where we want to put this, on the side, on the top. Where's it going to go? I reload and check the debug log, but it is just going crazy. You can't actually tell just to look at it right now, unless it shows something scroll up really fast, but those are spamming. Those red lines, the null reference exception, they are just flying by at an insane rate. If you look at my actual log file, they're going by really, really fast in that. So I'm basically getting about 7 frames per second right now because those null exceptions are eating up all of my CPU. I tried unloading a few DLLs like Kerbal Attachment System itself, and that didn't make them go away, so I don't know what they're coming from, but they are not coming from Kerbal Attachment System, they're not coming from Remote Tech. I tried disabling those, I tried disabling a few things. None of them helped. I'll just have to deal with the slow frame rate for now. I've learned my lesson. I will be pressing F5 constantly to save my game. So I have this idea that maybe I could grab the CPU off the side of this and use it on the next one rather than needing to get... okay. I don't think I'll be taking the CPU off of the side of that one to use on the next one. I will have to get CPUs for every single one of them, just like I originally planned and brought. Nope, didn't happen. Svetlana's not going to die because Kerbal Attachment System has some kind of bug in it. So we reload and we open it up again, and this time I'm going to press F5 right now, and then we'll try moving this around to see if maybe it's something to do with the grabbing, but I can't seem to attach it anywhere. Except back on the leg, which pops it up in the air. So, reload. Again, I should be keeping score of how many reloads we have now. We're just going to leave it like that. I've given up on it. We're going to go and get new CPUs every single time, just like I have threatened to do. I keep thinking, well, maybe I could try this, maybe I could try that. And every time I think I'm just going to use CPUs for everything, I come up with another idea. I try that. It doesn't work. Ultimately, it's just going to have to be 4 different CPUs for the 4 different landers. Now, we're having a little trouble getting this one to attach. It's liking to do a little bit of a dance right there. Well, eventually, I get it into a position where it just wants to jiggle, 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 jiggle. So, yeah. So we give it a little push. Just get in there, bang that in there. Yeah, there we go. Okay, pop it in. There's nothing a little force won't help fix sometimes. Well, let's see. Decoupling. We're learning a lot of lessons. The decoupling here threw that thing a crazy distance. I'm going to have to do something like maybe dock them to the side so that they don't get thrown by the decouplers. Anyway, we're going to need to go and get another CPU for the new one, and we're going to need batteries pretty soon because everything was running out of charge. It was taking so long. I might need to pull out some little itty-bitty solar panels to try and charge these things up just temporarily. If the solar panels are actually going to work, I don't know. F5, grab this and attach it to the side of the drill unit. F5, run back over to the lander. F5, grab something else from near the lander. F5, and so on and so on. And then she runs out of charge in her suit. So we have to go inside. And as I'm going up, we do a little flip, of course, because how can you get in a capsule without flipping onto your head first? And then when I pop out, I notice right there the solar panels are not extended, but it says extend, but that instantly pops them out. There is something really screwy going on with all of this. While I'm doing that, though, I notice that I do have an antenna right there, and my other antennas have fallen through the world, so maybe I can just come out and grab the antenna off the side. Will that one work without exploding? No. Reload. Hey, there's an antenna on the ground. Alright then. Okay, I'm gonna grab that. It's not going to explode picking it up off the ground, so we'll grab that, bring that over. Alright, problem solved. Put that on there, and then we'll be able to extend the legs on this one, move it back and bring it over next to the first one. Ooh, very shaky, very shaky. We have to be very careful with this one. I want to get it off the ground just a little bit here. Open up that user interface for the winch and see if maybe we can pull it up a little, but it's getting hooked on the end of that lander, not lander, the rover. It's getting hooked on the rover. There, we pulled it free. Now we can get those legs down, but before I can do that, it runs out of power. No, I don't want that. I want a battery. Where are the batteries? Let's go in. I took that one out just because I happened to be there, and I might as well get them out while I've got the opportunity. Okay, here we go. Batteries. I'm pooping out batteries now. Poop, poop. Another big log battery coming out. Oh, jeez. Okay. I might be about done for a little while here. It's getting a little frustrating, but okay, we have our battery. Now, let's see if we can finally get this to work. Oh, dear. Please work, don't explode. All right, pop out the legs. Yes. Okay, all right. Now we just need to position it. Oh, it's dragging. I need to lift it up because it's dragging. Okay, position it over near the first one, and then eventually we'll be like hooking them all together, extending the drills, running the refinery. This is quite the expedition. We've got only 2 of them down so far. I have 2 more little deployable little landing pad pod. What do I want to call these things? I don't know. I got some stuff I need to put on the ground. I think I'm losing the ability to be coherent due to all these problems. All I can think about is how to try to fix them and being frustrated by not being able to figure out exactly how I can get it all to work. Watch where you're driving. All right. Now we need the generator. Our power is getting low. The lander, the rover itself is on below 50%. It's only what, 30 something, 35%. So we're going to need to get that generator going. The Kethane generator, if we can hook everything up, the drill will bring up the Kethane, send it into the generator. The generator will give us all the electricity we need to run this whole lander base, and then we can get everything going. This one I did a little better decoupling it, but apparently it's pretty heavy. It's tipping the whole thing forward. Maybe I was able to get it to decouple better simply because I had it in a bad position to make it stay stable once it had decoupled. We need to somehow improve our center of mass. So I put it down on the ground, lowered the arm, and then I figure if I keep it close to the body of the rover, then I can tip it up, bring it in over the body of the rover itself. Yeah, see, this is definitely not working. Trying to drive with it too low still. So going to bring it up over the body, lower it down on top, keeping the center of mass a little bit maybe more over some of the wheels. This is actually giving me an idea. Maybe what I need is a rover that's a bit more like a sky crane kind of thing that could lower a winch down with a frame above it, and then once it grabs it, it could just drive along with it sort of raised up underneath it. I would still need something to get it down off the side. I'll have to think about this. Maybe I just need two rovers. One that can take the things down off the side, one that can actually grab them and lift them. Ooh, wait a minute. No, how about a rover that's capable of doing both by reconfiguring itself in some way? I'm going to have to go to the design board for this one. Well, we'll get back to that later. Right now, I have myself a battery and a CPU. I just need an antenna to bring those legs down, but with the battery and the CPU, we can hook that up and be just about done with 3 of them. Now, wait, what? Where? What the? Where's my battery going? Get back here. Hey, get back here. What? Where's my battery going? I'm not reloading this one. That battery just got away, which is alright because I still have a few others. I keep finding some stuff around the capsule. If I switch around using the bracket keys to change between different ships, sometimes I actually switch into one of the things that is falling through the world, and sometimes it falls through the world, and sometimes it appears above the world and lands back on the ground again, so I'm able to get it. So we'll just hook this battery up, and then we can bring out the legs. Yeah. Reload. Now, this time, I'm going to be a KSP magician. Watch the battery. Keep your eyes on the battery. We have to drop it on the ground in order to get to it. We're going to get the antenna, put it up on the side. Watch the battery. Where's the battery? Yep, I'm a magician. Well, this is going to have to do for now. I just want to get this on the ground. So extend out the piston, lower it down, find out once again why it's a good idea to do reference missions on the moon before going and trying to do these things on Duna, because it's having some trouble getting that thing out and on the ground. I have to back up and it's coming down all wobbly. The legs aren't coming out because of all the problems with the batteries and stuff. And then there's that. Wow, this one's really going. We're going way up in the air. What's it look like on the map? Wow, 14 kilometers into the air. Okay, reload. All right, so let's see. Maybe we can just move it around by just doing attach. If you do, instead of grab, if we just do attach. Okay, well, since it worked on the one piece where I just did an attach and moved it around, I thought maybe attach would move that block down to the ground, but no such luck. Hey, look, there's another antenna I can grab down on the ground. They just keep coming back sometimes. But Svetlana has run out of power again in her suit, so we have to go back in, but wait, no. Oh, the power's not in the capsule. The capsule is completely out of power. The solar panels are not working. Okay, pretty much nothing in this base is working at this point. We're running out of power. I have to get that generator going because look, the solar panel, now there's a solar panel just completely missing on the side. On the plus side, I noticed a battery just laying on the side of the lander. All right, well, we'll grab that battery. That'll give us enough power temporarily to go over and get the legs out on this thing at least. We just need to have an antenna apparently because it still says no connection. I thought I had put an antenna on here. No, there is an antenna on there. I see it. Well, I guess I didn't notice it at the time. I'm seeing it now, but I didn't notice it at the time. So I thought, well, I guess I gotta go get another antenna. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, so put this, put this over here on the side, not knowing that there was already one there. Click, and still no connection. Okay, so let's go out and find out why that is. Well, it turns out that the TDRS satellite is no longer deployed. Every single antenna, dish, whatever, it says not active. They all can be activated. So how am I going to get that fixed? Well, basically, I just did a little hackery. I went into the saved game, and since those had previously been working, I kind of edited the save file and just told them they were working again. So the TDRS satellite is back online, and that allowed me to actually decouple away from that generator. Now, if you're wondering why I have all these things separated like this, well, there's two reasons. One, it looks damn cool having your base all spread out and Kerbal attachment connected together. Two, I wanted the ability to actually swap the parts out fairly easily if I should find that one of them needed to be changed for whatever reason. It's not supposed to be this hard though. After actually decoupling the battery, now I can't control it, so I reload and all of a sudden the battery's gone. I couldn't control the rover. It says no connection. The battery's gone. The docking node's gone. Everything. Okay. Forget that. Reload. And this time what we're just going to do is we're going to start hooking all the little bits together. So we have these pipe endpoints. And if we grab that and hit link and then run over to the other one on the other side and hit link. Ooh, okay. Kerbal attachment is causing things to kind of bounce around a lot. I'm sure that's actually somehow related to why all of the parts are exploding sometimes. The way that they're bouncing around here. Sometimes it just bounces and sometimes they explode. Anyway, we grab those pipe endpoints, we link, go over to the other one, put it in the spot I like, link it up to the other side, and essentially we're making these conduits that turn this whole thing into one ship rather than being a bunch of 3 separate ships. I just really need that generator running. Now, if I were to just go and do one more, grab some sort of pipe endpoint from over here, hook it onto this, hook it over onto the gigantic lander, and we'll be able to get everything. Wow. I'm going to bed. We're back at the Kethane lander. Now, the last time I showed this, it had a different engine. I swapped out the engine artwork with a different engine, but the stats, I made them exactly the same. We had seen everything all the way up through here. So now you know what the payload looks like. Well, here it is in the VAB. To make it easier to see, what I'll do is I'll grab it and put it sideways, like so. Alright, so working our way from the back to the front, you can see that I have some Kerbal attachment system boxes in the back, and they have little knickknacks in there that I might have needed on the mission. RCS all along the side was what was providing any sort of stability. And because this thing is so big and there were so many jets, and those are just a few of them, there were 2 on each side of there, and there's 4 there, so that was 8. But then there's these little ones that give the sideways thrust, and there's 8 on each side of those I mean. And so we have 16 of those RCS jets all the way along the side. Oop, I grabbed the front. Well, you can see the front right there. It's just a big huge part from LLL, Lackluster Labs. A lot of these parts are from Lackluster Labs actually. All the core body pieces on the back here, that's just a big one right there like that. So One difference though is that I have turned these into monopropellant tanks because I knew that I was going to need a lot of monopropellant in order to operate all of those RCS jets that were all along the side for the stability. I wanted to be able to use them full time, even for landing if I had to. This is one of the landing struts with an antenna on it. We have parachutes for when we get to Duna, lights all over the place. 4 engines on each side provide all the power I need in order to do all of the maneuvers and the landing and everything. More RCS monopropellant tanks on the top. Those are just there really not to provide monopropellant, but because I wanted something to make it look a little more interesting on the top than if you take them off and it's all flat and boring. Each of the little landers was attached with a decoupler down there. Each of them had a little docking node, as well as whatever it was that they were going to need on them, like drills or this Kethane tank, these landing legs. And the decouplers were stuck to the side by simply embedding a tiny little cubic strut on there. Now these dark band ones, those are my liquid fuel, and those provided all the fuel that I was going to need for the large engines that had been on the side. More Kerbal attachment boxes and parachutes, monopropellant tank in the back. The hinge here, this beam, you can see that it has more lights on the top of it, and those were, when it comes up, you saw provided light shining down into areas on the left and right. It also had the dish, brings the dish up. Moving to the front, little trick on this one is because the engines were pointing sideways when I launched, I put a probe body right here. And this probe body was pointing up so that I could say control from here during the landing, which would then allow it to believe that the up was this way, so down was this way, of course, and that meant that down and the same direction that the engines were pointing were the same. That's important because it sets the nav ball correctly. I did the same thing with one going sideways right here, that I could say control from here when I was actually lifting off at the very beginning. And that's why that's the one that has my antenna on it, because in my mind, this is the one that was providing the initial control when we were doing our liftoff. Although there were a couple antennae that have disappeared by now because they were attached to things that I've already removed. Moving along to the side, we have 2 more of those decouplers. This is where we had the battery, the generator, more landing legs, decouplers, liquid fuel, although I still want to show you something that's inside there, so let's not take that away yet. This was the root part over here. I needed that to be the root part because originally the whole thing was not controllable by remote tech, and I had to do that little trick where you detach and reattach that you've seen in a previous video of mine that allowed me to actually control it again. Moving into the inside here, we can see this is where the rover originally was, and the rover was docked to a strut right there. I'll grab the rover and pull it out to make it easier to see, but you can tell it was just pretty simply stuck in there and had a couple struts to help hold it together until we actually got where we were going. On the front of that, we have our docking node, which is attached to a little piece that comes from Kerbal Attachment System that is required in order to connect to the winch right here. The winch was connected to a joint that had a light on it, which was then connected to a big piston. The piston was on the hinge. These were the struts that were help holding it in. We have 4 wheels, more lights, and the whole thing is welded together to have that docking node as well as these end caps and everything here through the middle. This right here is all welded together into one piece. So there you have it. The rest of it is pretty simple, just some basic structure, fuel, mono, and the cargo bay. With all the problems I've been having, the new plan here is Svetlana is going to try to just hook whatever we have now all together again. I will try to figure out what some of these problems are and see if I can fix them, but for the moment I am completely done with trying to deal with explosions. We're going to stick with what we know works. Some of these attachments work, like doing these pipe endpoints to each other, though that works. Taking something off of something else doesn't work, but I can attach it from itself to itself in a new spot. The only problem is it seems to cause things to bounce up in the air a little bit, and sometimes that makes them explode, but most of the time it doesn't. So with everything hooked up the way it is right now, once we get this last pipe in, if I can seem to get to it, I'm having troubles with this high gravity, getting it just right because I can't right click on parts right now for some reason. I'm using the 64-bit, and I guess there's some sort of a problem with 64-bit KSP where right clicking occasionally gets really, really difficult. In fact, it messes up not just that, but it messes up my windows. It thinks when I'm left clicking on something that it's actually a right click. Whatever. So we'll just jam ourselves in there and get that hooked up. Now, like I was saying, this is now going to be able to do its transfer by reattaching this over on here, and okay, nothing exploded. We're good. We're good. All right. Hooking these two together, we're going to be able to get that power from the generator right into the lander and repower everything, refill the batteries, because right now Svetlana herself is running around on no power. Oh, geez. Oh, okay. Nope, nothing exploded. We're still good. It was just a little bit of that something pops in the air sort of a problem. All right, there we go. The generator is just about ready to go. We have to put the drills into the ground first. I'm going to load both of them in there just to get that Kethane twice as fast. Power up those. Power up that generator. It's a Kethane generator, so a portion of what's being extracted is going into generating the electricity that I need, since there's a lot of power required. I have intentionally increased the wattage used on those drills. I can't remember exactly what I did, but something like 4,000 watts of power each that they're consuming. Now we're taking a nice little flyby of the base. I think it looks pretty nice. Certainly hope it was worth the effort with all the problems I've been having. Got to think of what's left to do here. Let's see, turn on the actual converter so that we can start getting our fuel and all that. We have just the electricity's going up right now, but we needed some of that anyway, and excess Kethane will go into a storage tank.
Eagle Base, this is Raptor 1, come in. Go ahead, Raptor 1, we read you. The cloaking test was successful. All systems 100% across the board. What are our orders? Hold, Raptor 1. Your orders are to return home immediately. Set course for Kerbin. You're being deployed to the alternate dimension. Hello, Rhea.
Greetings, Captain.
Is everything still checking out?
Yes, sir. Checking on the cooking device one last time right now.
Good, we're heading home.
Sounds good, Captain.
Close primary junction. Reroute subsystem B through secondary cooling system. Motherbird reported that we were completely undetectable. How did the engines hold up passing into that cloaking field? We got new orders to head home. Will we be ready in 1 hour? Not one of the needles moved a millimeter, sir. I'll set up a return vector and firing solution immediately. That's it. We'll be ready to go when you give the word. Chief Engineer, the word is given.
Alrighty, Kerbinauts, look at the time. We need to be moving on. I thought I was going to get a chance to do some mid-course corrections for Duna, but we'll have to take care of that next time. This one is over. Until then, I'll see you later, Kerbinauts.